From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News Today.
The next 10 days could mean a new superintendent for Columbia Public Schools.
Coffee and conversation, how Columbia's police officers are reaching out to the community. Plus, why you might have to wait to pay your utilities online.
Good morning to Missouri. It's Friday, February 21st, 2014. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Megan Judy.
And I'm Haley Buck.
I'm Eric Aldrich, and very windy out there again this morning.
Blow you over.
Yeah, certainly not as windy as what it was yesterday afternoon, but the winds are still going to be up, and it's still going to be much colder than it was 24 hours ago. About 15 to almost 20 numbers, actually, that we will be a little bit cooler today than we were at this time yesterday. We're into the upper 20s and low and middle 30s at around the state of Missouri. 33 at Sedalia, 29 at Moberly, 32 at Herman. Rolla's at 35. The wind will continue. Again, not as windy as what it was yesterday, but the sunshine does return today, and temperatures jump back into the 40s by the lunch hour, a high at 56, so that's not too bad. However, temperatures do continue to drop off a little bit as we move on into the weekend, and we'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Ladies, back to you.
Thank you very much. 4 community organizations will meet this morning to reflect on recent city problems and discuss the future of Columbia.
Plans to help ease school traffic and congestion and a review of how city organizations communicated during the snow are some of the items on the agenda. KOMU 8's Shane McAllister joins us live in Columbia to tell us more on what officials will focus on at this morning's meeting.
I'm at the Route C roundabout right now, the most recent attempt at easing school traffic congestion. Over my shoulder to the right, you can see the road kind of leading towards I-70, and to my left, the road leading towards Battle High School. If you spent any time around this area in the last 6 months, you've noticed a positive change in the traffic congestion, and that is due to this roundabout. Later this morning, Columbia staff will meet with the Columbia Public School Board, along with Boone County staff and the Columbia Chamber of Commerce, to discuss what other traffic changes they can make to help with congestion around other Columbia schools. The committees will discuss altering private sector start times to help with travel on Scott Boulevard. The groups will review city and county protocols to determine if communication between the 3 organizations is efficient when it comes to road treatment and snow removal. Organizations will also brainstorm on how Como Connect can help school transportation. The meeting starts at 9 this morning and will be in the Columbia City Hall. Reporting live in Columbia, Shane McAllister, KOMU 8 News.
A new GPS satellite's in orbit this morning.
The U.S. Air Force launched it Thursday night. It took place in Cape Canaveral, Florida. It's the 5th of 12 block satellites that will replace older satellites used for navigation. Each satellite is designed for a service life of a dozen years. The next GPS satellite is scheduled to launch in May.
Columbia Public School Board members discussed the next steps for replacing the superintendent. The nationwide posting for the job closed on Friday with more than a dozen interested candidates stepping forward. During fees, it will also be unavailable for the payment of miscellaneous accounts. Haley.
The winner of the Powerball jackpot has yet to claim his prize. Find out how one gas station is making big money off this.
A live look over Columbia.
Recommended bed in America.
Denver Mattress, your elite Tempur-Pedic retailer.
People will be able to grab a cup of joe with police officers today. The Columbia Police Department is taking part in a national initiative to involve the community.
It gives everyone the opportunity to sit and talk with the officers in a much more relaxed setting. KOMU 8's Jay Wallace joins us live from where the meeting will take place. Good morning.
Columbia officers will be holding coffee with a cop this morning at the Hy-Vee off Conley Road. Now, this will take place from 7 to 9 a.m. this morning, and the purpose is to give people a chance to talk to officers and ask them questions in a more relaxed setting, because the majority of contact with law enforcement is during emergencies and emotional situations, while this will be much more relaxed and give people the chance to talk about things they usually wouldn't, and anyone is invited to attend. Now, Coffee with a Cop started 3 years ago in Hawthorne, California, and the goal was the same. Since then, it's expanded and is currently hosted in 36 states states and 175 cities and towns. Coffee with a Cop is also happening in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and Gulf Shores, Alabama today. The United States Department of Justice is supportive of this national initiative. Now, officers say they hope that this event can help strengthen the connection between law enforcement and you. Reporting live from Columbia, Jay Wallace, KOMU 8 News.
Thanks, Jay. One person was injured in a large fire that erupted in Phoenix Thursday, which sent thick black smoke up that can be seen for miles. Exploding propane and natural gas tanks fueled the fire at Breacher Sales, a plumbing supply business. Nearby schools had to cancel outdoor activities because of that smoke. Road and highways in the area also closed. Officials say welders working at the site may have accidentally sparked the blaze. 2 Los Angeles Dodger fans pleaded guilty Thursday to a brutal 2011 attack that left a San Francisco Giants fan brain damaged. Brian Snow was killed in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium when Luis Sanchez and Marvin Norwood attacked and beat him. Sanchez pleaded guilty to mayhem that disabled and disfigured the victim. Norwood pleaded guilty to assault likely to cause great bodily injury. A judge sentenced Sanchez to 8 years in prison and Norwood to 4 years. The winner of the $425 million Powerball jackpot hasn't come forward yet, but lottery officials still handed out a giant check Thursday in California. The winning ticket was sold at the Dixon Landing Chevron station, which means the owner of the store will get a $1 million bonus. The owner, Colwinder Seen, is traveling to India and left his phone behind with his son, so he has no idea what's going on back at his store at home. Relatives were on hand to receive that check. A security camera captured video of the man as he dropped a handful of cash after allegedly robbing a PNC bank in Maryland on Wednesday. It appears the suspect was trying to leave the bank when he dropped the loot. He managed to flee the scene in a vehicle, but police used stop sticks to flatten those to his tires. He then tried to get away on foot, but slipped on a patch of ice and cut his head. Authorities then arrested him on robbery charges. Anti-government protests in the Venezuelan capital continued for a 9th day yesterday. Hundreds of protesters marched through the streets and some left flowers at a military building as symbols of peace. President Nicolas Maduro says protests against his socialist government are part of an attempted coup sponsored by right-wing and fascist opponents in Venezuela and abroad. A week of protests has resulted in at least 6 deaths and more than 100 injuries.
Now, your live Doppler 8 first.
Into the middle and upper.
Actually, like walked backward to the door.
Toupee advisory as well. We'll issue one of those.
Excellent.
Yeah.
A new level.
I'm not too. Okay.
We'll counsel later.
Beef prices are climbing, and with Missouri being the second largest cattle state in the U.S. for producing and consuming beef, you may be suffering from sticker shock. Beef prices are near record highs, with prices up 5% and a 10% rise by summer. Consumers are currently paying about $3.50 a pound for ground beef. According to the USDA, these prices are likely to stay just as high. The sky-high prices are being blamed on ranchers raising fewer herds of cattle, particularly in areas experiencing drought. Producers also say high corn prices have led to smaller herds. Experts recommend checking on sales and looking for coupons. Typically, meat goes on sale for about a week at a time. Also going up is the cost of owning a home. The monthly payment for a medium-priced 3-bedroom home on average nationally increased on average from 21% from a year ago. California and parts of Michigan saw monthly house payments increase about 50%. Data shows higher home prices and higher mortgage rates is the reason for that increase. But experts say home price growth is moderating and values rose just 0.2% from December to January.
It has been the most wonderful winter this year in more ways than just one. NBC's Chris Clackham tells us how shortages are now affecting consumers.
Is over. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Dolls.
And diabetes, how one little girl's taking a stand. That's next.
Hail to the Chiefs.
Welcome back. One inspiring little girl throws her own campaign.
She's taking it to social media to do the trick. CNN's Carolina Bushek spoke with the girl to find out how she's trying to help other kids in her situation.
Hi, my name is Anya Bussy. I'm 11 years old and
Everyone to feel
1,000 signatures.
Nanya says she just wants everyone to feel good about themselves. You can support her cause by signing the petition at change.org. More in your health news, new genetic research could bring improved treatments for high blood pressure. Scientists found 11 new genes linked to blood pressure, most of which respond with drugs that already exist or are in development. But some aren't responding well to the medicine, and others need 3 or more drugs. More research is needed to see if these drugs are actually effective in treating hypertension. 2 new smartphone applications could help patients suffering a seizure or stroke get faster treatment. The epilepsy app helps non-doctors determine if a person is having a seizure by asking a series of questions. And it was 96% accurate in clinical trials. Medical staff at the University of Texas are already using the stroke app. It helps doctors improve the quality and communication of care. And teens who text about condoms are more likely to use them, are more likely to have sex using them. Researchers surveyed nearly 200 high school juniors and seniors about their sexual habits. They found students who use texting to discuss condoms or other form of birth control were nearly 4 times more likely to have sex with protection.
.451 is your time here this morning. If you're traveling today, it should be a fairly quiet day weather-wise. There's not a lot of weather traffic that's going to impact you if you're going to be traveling out of Columbia Regional here today from
should shock you.
A barking.
This one should shock you.
A barking ballot for mayor. How one 4-legged friend is attempting to take the seat. We are looking live over Columbia Regional. This is KOMU 8 News Today, and the coverage you can count on.
We have some breaking news. Police in Somalia say militants have attacked the presidential palace. Police Captain Mohammed Hussein says they began the attack with a car bomb, then tried to fight their way into the palace as guards returned fire. Authorities don't yet know how many casualties there were. An al-Qaeda-linked group called Al-Shabaab has been waging war in Somalia for years.
A Texas resident has filled out a petition requesting that his pet dog, Dylan Westy, gets added to the upcoming mayoral race ballot.
The dog owner hopes to get a message across to politicians. NBC's Christine Lee has the story.
Dylan is 10 years old, which would make him 70 in dog years, so he's really qualified as far as the age. He has the age and the experience to do a good job.
Dylan Westy is